What's up, guys? Alright, so unlike the previous videos, I was sharing a bit of flashback from what we built in the summer. The winter actually did catch up with us, and on this area we've been kind of gathering all the plants that we intend to plant all around the property. And well, for instance, this beautiful big avocado tree that my sister and her family raised for the last 15 years in the apartment, and now it needed a bigger place. They're not going to do too well because we're expecting to get, you know, around -4 to -6 degrees here in the next couple of days. So I need to come up with a solution. And at some stage, this kind of concrete area that used to be where they, you know, just pile up the manure from the cattle in the past, I wanted to have a nice sort of orangerie, you know, building from wood and glass to have plants and sit inside, etc. And it's a bigger plan. However, in the short run, I figured I will just use some of the old rafters that I removed from the roof. And yes, they are contaminated, not great and everything, but I think once they're properly burned, they should be holding for at least another 1 or 2 years if they're not carrying any big loads, right? So my idea is using them and putting some kind of construction up here. Already drew up some plans, and then just putting a kind of polytunnel foil over it. Yeah, and I don't have much time. It's not good weather because I picked up sawmilling again. And so good weather, I'm trying to be in the forest. We need to cut down trees, etc. because obviously we want to do this in winter, and I'll do a whole episode on this topic. But yeah, so here I'm stuck in the rain, and just in my imagination, I think I'll be able to whip up something in no time. So let's see if I'm able to do that. So I have the wood, I need to burn it. Because here you already see some of it. It's not looking great, but I think it'll do the job. And the surface that we have at our disposal is around, yeah, about 6 times 7 meters. So it's quite decent. And I was thinking to do some kind of a construction that has a slope towards the south, so that the sun kind of can enter it well. And a steeper kind of wall in the back that I also might do with a black, with some kind of a, you know, black foil, just to generate more heat when the sun comes out. All right. So first things first, need to clear the place. There's still a lot of earth back there. I need to get out just to, you know, at least be able to put down the beams on the floor. The old rafters to hold down the whole thing. Let's get to it. Enjoying that little hill in the afternoon. Anyhow, that's still that garden house. Ain't it lovely? Garden work with some serious hail. Alright, so the weather isn't improving, but the greenhouse is. As you might see, I've already put up quite a bit. Let me switch the camera. So basically the main construction is done. And what I need to do now is to, put a bit further smaller pieces of wood in between so that there are not too big areas where the wind can push basically the plastic cover so it could rip. So I'm just putting, some of these in between. Alright, so the roof construction is done, and I'm kind of started to try to put the PE foil on top. It's not that easy, it's actually quite heavy. It has a size of 750 times 15 meters. So I figured I'm doing I've cut like 640 length, and now I should have 730 in depth, and I'm trying to see how far I can get to that side with it. What's up? Okay, so didn't manage to do it in one day, but so far so good. I've done the most of the wooden kind of intermediate things, but I'm still planning on putting some additional ones, here in the biggest surfaces. If there's too much wind, that might be too much pressure, but since it's getting very cold this night, I decided to go ahead and actually put away the fall over it. There's no wind, and then I can reinforce it from the inside afterwards. So this is a bit my idea. So the first part I put, at 7.50 meters of width from the piece of foil I bought. Unfortunately, didn't make it quite to the end, so I need to add another piece there. But I'm going to do the side for now, and now I'll try to do the other side. I'm actually quite happy about it so far. I've had more fall than I figured, and I still got a couple of meters there. So yeah, gonna get on this and then see how much I've got left. And then I figured the black foil I have here is a construction foil, also one I was using for the roof. I'll be adding this at the lower areas in case I don't have enough. So let's get to it. What's up? Alright, so the weather's a bit nicer, but it's been super cold, and I know this is a bit out of context because I've been posting all these kind of videos which have been throwbacks to when I was renovating the roof. But I just kind of really wanted to get all that content on there because I just figured the roof was the biggest project for us so far. And yeah, a lot of lessons learned to share, but it's been super cold and it's winter, we're in January. And I've managed to basically build in more or less 2 days this greenhouse behind me, and it's literally just been built with upcycled materials besides the foil. I actually bought this one, and it's been a pretty good deal. I got a 15 times 7 meter sheet for under 100 euros, so that was definitely worth the while. And it's not completely finished, but it's already been battle tested in the last kind of couple of days. It's been super cold in the night, and so far it looks like all the plants held up beautifully. So, but let's take a little sneak peek on how it looks from the inside. Okay, so here we have a door, and it opens like this. Alright, so the plants, it hasn't been sorted out yet. It's still a bit, everything is all over the place. But what I have already started doing is I built a shelf back there, and I figured for all the trays with plants in, they could go in here, and then underneath I can have some space to like put the pots and everything in there. So just going to try to show you what I figured that could look like. So here we have a lot of lavender plants that we are intending on planting outside when it gets warmer. And yeah, we can just try how that goes. My idea, this is why they're like this, so we can still see and access them. They get a little more light. Perfect. And the ones underneath also get light, because obviously south is on that side, right? These have all been grown from cuttings, and yeah, I'm quite excited. We've got so many plants, and we envision to have a nice kind of Provence garden at some point. So a lot of lavender and etc. is required. And also I mean, here you see the boards, they're not all boards, but these are boards that I had left over from sawmilling. As you see, they're round on the back side, so you can't really do that much with them. And I just kept them for such purposes, and as you see, they came in quite handy to do those shelves, and I didn't have to use any, you know, nice boards I could be using to build the barn or the house or whatever. These are big trays of rosemary. Got plenty of that as well. Yeah, I just want to see how does this hold up with weight. I'm not really worried about the boards. They're thick. More those are just full of 2 screws, but I think it should be fine. I put something in the middle to hold it. Let's see about that. Wow, this has a lot of space. I mean, honestly, look at this. I have a huge... I built a huge greenhouse, and now with this kind of installation I probably could have done half that size, but no worries, we'll find plants to put in here. Well, and in order to get things started early in the season, besides greenhouse, kind of a bit of a grow box is pretty good, which is basically just a box which adds another layer of wrapping, like a little greenhouse in a greenhouse. And this allows you to kind of really get started very early in the season with some vegetables, etc., and just have a longer growing season essentially. So that's exactly what I'm wanting to do here. I'm gonna keep it super quick and dirty because, as I mentioned before, this is, you know, just a temporary solution until I have the timber and the time to basically build a nice orangerie with glass and everything. So nonetheless, it should be functional. So I took this pallet here and I'm just gonna add some old beams on it. With a chainsaw, I just cut the borders off so it's nice and level all around. And then I'll put 4 beams, or pieces of wood basically, and then I'll just add boards, and that's already it. Well, you obviously want a lid as well, but then that's that. Alright, so let's get to it. They don't need to be super strongly attached to the pallet because essentially they'll be held by the boards around it, which is going to be totally sufficient. The only reason I'm using these big ones is because I have them, and it's the rest of the old rafters as I've built actually most of this greenhouse with. so not much lost in using them for this as well, since they are done for. Alright, so I built most of the shelves and it gave me so much space, and when I was considering this box I was kind of thinking, okay, I'm gonna cover it up and, you know, early on trying to get stuff in there and later on whatever can grow. I was kind of thinking I maybe should have some kind of fixed garden beds within the greenhouse, so I'll be doing this on this side where it's kind of shallow anyways, due to the fact that obviously I want it to have a large slope towards the south. And I'm just going to be using some of these pieces of wood that I have, well, it's like bark pieces, to build like a larger kind of box. I'm kind of thinking 6 times 1 meter, something like this. And then, yeah, plants could be in here all year long, basically. And I think in summer wouldn't be bad. You know, I can have some strawberries, just some early ones, or also courgettes and all that kind of stuff works quite well. Also, obviously, tomatoes. I was thinking, okay, they could be there, and then kind of grow along those beams upwards. They don't have to grow vertically. They don't have a problem with that, and generally speaking, they kind of have a long way to grow. So let's try that. I think that could work quite nicely. All right, let's get to it.
Alright, just as a little info on how I filled it. Actually, as you've seen, I've put on the bottom, I had some sawdust and hay with basically all the chicken droppings, because I just cleaned out the hen house. And I figured, didn't really know where to put it because I don't really have designated compost here at the moment. And the way I've been doing it all the time is always making a new garden bed and then just putting it basically underneath. So this is underneath, and it will kind of rot over time, and obviously, you know, it's not ready for the plants yet. However, in that kind of a depth, I wouldn't be worried, because the plants will only reach it sometime in summer, and until then they'll be kind of old enough to deal with it, right? So, and it will be kind of decomposed further. Then above it, I actually got from a really old pile of wood, where I was kind of getting out the old pieces of oak, which are still intact for firewood, but a lot of the other wood types that have been in this stack have been completely rotten, and so this is what you basically saw me put in before. And so we get a lot of leaves, we get a lot of kind of rotten wood, and some of the really rotten ones I just, you know, put them through this this chopping machine there, because then it's super fine, like smooth, and basically some of it is literally already decomposed to earth. So I just put this in there because I had it again, and then on the top I just put some of the rest of the earth that I still had from this platform, and now some other earth here that I took from the garden bed in front of the house that I need to remove because I won't be cutting open the wall sometime soon. So yeah, and then I'll be, you know, watering this well and hoping for it to basically, I'll let it rest for a while before I plant things in there. But this is why I'm doing it now. We're in January, and I think then it should be reasonably settled and kind of in a way that I can plant stuff in there sometime in April, I assume, or March even already. Let's see. It's been seriously freezing tonight. There you see the ice, but down here it hasn't, so greenhouse worked, I guess.